Next, Ange Postecoglou's first game in charge of Nottingham Forest. It was at Arsenal and Jonathan Pearce was there.
We had quite a lot of uncertainties. The boys have been out for 10 days, travelling the world, only one day to prepare the match without an early kick-off. Uncertainty about what the opposition was going to do, and even with those conditions the team I think performed really well. A lot of new relationship on the pitch that you can start to see how they flourish, and 3 goals, a clean sheet, 3 points, so overall very positive.
Yeah, I thought the players gave everything they could. They tried. They had the right kind of endeavour. I think the second goal, sort of pushed the game away from us. It's been a really disruptive week for the players. You can only understand, and I tried to sort of keep things really simple this week. We've only had one training session together, but hopefully from now on we can sort of start betting in some of the principles we need to.
Great combinations in the wide positions. Both wide players play very well.
Both of them, I think they were terrific. A real threat with their own qualities, so different in the way that they create danger, a threat and unpredictability to the opponent, but very pleased.
Eze's tricky, isn't he? Madueke is like an old-fashioned winger, really bang, goes for it.
Yeah, that's that I said, that they are very different. We need to use them because it will require different profiles around them as well to maximise the qualities as they have, but they are both in a good moment.
Very direct. Is that what Mikel tells you to be direct? Just take them on, take them on, take them on.
That's the only way I really know how to play, to be positive every time I get the ball. Try and find my teammates, and job of a winger is to go past the fullback and try and create as much as possible. So that's what I try and do every time I step on the pitch.
Well, Arteta eulogising about his wingers today, and in fact, the front three are real combinations, didn't they?
Yeah, you can include Gyökeres in that danger zone for Arsenal today. I thought that was really impressive from the start of the game. As we know Eze's quality, but now we're seeing it in an Arsenal shirt. He can just go past his man with ease. The game seems so simple for him. I really liked Madueke today. He was so positive and aggressive. He gave Morata a tough game. He's just standing up. You can kind of see they're looking for Gyökeres already in this early part of the season. But here he is. He's only got one thought in his mind. Can I get to that byline, which is such a dangerous place for a defence when a player gets there and he cuts it back? Is unlucky. And then Eze. What I like about him is he can go inside or outside. So as a fullback, you're pretty stuck. Here he's getting to the byline as well, getting in there. Same man Gyökeres is looking for it. It must be a dream for a striker to play with. Then you get this just after half-time. One pretty simple ball. That's perfect. That's a perfect pass on the half volley across for Gyökeres, gets his goal. And then this is just another example just of the link-up play between the three of them. And already they're finding that bit of chemistry. You can see that they're enjoying playing with each other. Gyökeres continues with his run. Madueke waits, slips him in, hits the post on that one. Madueke again now second half. It's Nico Williams that's up against him. And when you think maybe he's took too long, the move's over, I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Slows it up, waits for Timber. And then Declan Rice, if he goes with his left foot there, it's probably another goal.
Do you like the fact that they're slightly different as wingers, the two of them, as Jonathan said in the interviews, that Madueke is probably a bit more direct?
Yeah, so they're similar and different, if that makes sense, because they can both go past the player with ease. But Madueke seems to be a bit more aggressive in the way that he attacks his fullback, whereas Eze slows it down a little bit and just glides past fullbacks. But both of them, I think, for Gyökeres are going to be great this season.
It's such a game where you really saw the benefits of Arsenal's transfer window today, wasn't it?
Well, he has spent a lot, but the likes of obviously Saka, Ødegaard went off injured today. Saliba missing, Jesus, Havertz is out as well. So, again, the strength and depth now, which they have Champions League, Premier League, this is probably the strongest squad I think Arteta has had. It really has. This is their opportunity, I feel, to win the Premier League this season. And if he can keep the majority of this squad fit, even Zubimendi today scoring a header, that's a rarity, isn't it? But 2 goals for him as well today. He's built a really strong squad, and he must believe, and they must believe, this is their year.
You see there on that graphic, the first 5 of their most expensive signings this summer all starting today. Just as far as Nottingham Forest are concerned and Ange Postecoglou, this is not the game in which you judge what difference he is going to make. This is going to take time.
No, I think today he was probably just looking, really, to see what he's got. He wants to be around him, but he hasn't had enough time to judge him. But what will be interesting is in 3 or 4 weeks, how he sets this Nottingham Forest team up. Does he go back to the way Tottenham started last season, or is he a little bit more reserved of what the Forest team are used to and how they've got a bit of glory recently?
Right, West Ham secured a much-needed win at Nottingham Forest last time out. Tottenham, their visitors today. Simon Brotherton, watch this one.
Of the goal-scoring charts now is Viktor Gyökeres on 3 goals so far this season. What did you make of his goal and the timing of it, as we mentioned?
I think that's what he needs and what he wants. And I think to get the best out of him, he's going to need early balls into the box. I highlighted at half-time about when you have too many touches, perhaps. This is a great example of not doing that, of long ball over the top, one touch across from Eze. It's a great ball. It's screaming to say, just go on, get on the end of it, tap it in. And that's exactly what he did. It's, as I said, a wonderful ball over the top. But the hardest part is, again, for the winger to put that on a plate for Gyökeres. First-time ball, early ball. Thank you very much. That's exactly what he demands. And he will, if Arsenal continue to do that, they still didn't get the balance, as I said, at half-time in the first half. But I thought it was a little bit better in the second half when Calafiori as well whipped 1 or 2 early balls in, which perhaps because of the lack of understanding between teammates, but he'll get a shed load of goals if they keep on getting balls into the box early.
And is that exactly what Arsenal were missing, especially last season?
Yeah, absolutely. Number 9. I mean, lots of people had their go up there. Havertz, at times Marino went up there. Trossard as a false number 9 as well. So I think it wasn't rocket science that he needed a number 9. It's whether they could have get one, and they've got one now, and hopefully he can stay fit. He needs that service, and as I said before, them quick balls in. He makes the runs as a good striker does. And he can put them in the back of the net. So a really good afternoon for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, I'm sure, will be delighted with the performance because Forest, again, a decent side. And to get the win in the early kick-off is always a bonus for everybody, and they can sit back now and watch the other games.
It feels like, Alan, they just turned the screw a little bit in the second half. And as I mentioned, the timing, 46 seconds after the break.
Yeah, that's exactly why. It was always going to be key to who got that next goal. And if Arsenal did as they did, we always felt that way. It was going to be not an easy afternoon, but they could take the foot off the gas, enjoy it a little bit more, pressure off. And that's exactly what happened. If Forest had got that goal, it might have been slightly different. But Forest didn't really threaten too much in the afternoon. And I don't think anyone watching that match can say anything other than Arsenal played well and Arsenal deserved the 3 points.
Well, Viktor Gyökeres had the fewest touches of any Arsenal player in the first half. In the second half, he took 46 seconds to score and could have had a second.
Yeah, he could have done. And, he's getting in different areas. Here he is now, picking it up. He's running at players, good pass out there. And this is good, overlapping. This is what you should do. If that's on target, it's a goal. Simple as that, because of the pace of the ball. Woodwork saved Forest there. That's what you want, you get a little bit of confidence, moving the ball quickly. And I'm sure if he can keep getting into positions, he will score goals all season.
We saw his interaction there with Madueke, who I think we've all agreed was
very
brilliant today.
Absolutely. I thought he was really excellent, always running at players. He's come off that England trip, a little bit of confidence as well. He's got that opportunity now because Saka's been injured, and now it's all about him, what he does now on the pitch, just stay in that team. And he certainly didn't let anybody down today. Zubimendi probably will get man of the match, but he was a close second.
Yeah, you've got Saka, Eze, Martinelli, Wanyeri.
Yeah.
Madueke. The options that Arsenal have got now in terms of all over the park, actually. And they're going to need them. It's at different stages of the season, but really positive from all the players today.
Yeah, some outstanding performances, none more so than Martin Zubimendi. Yeah. I mean, we mentioned that it was his first ever goal from outside of the box and a first time he scored 2 goals in a single league game. What a day for him. What a way to start the scoring.
Well, if it's the first one outside of the box, you would say, why and how is it when he can hit them like that? Because that is it's a dream strike. It's the perfect strike. Not easy at all to get the connection, get the power, get the direction, all of those things. And you might be seeing him shooting a few more times come this season if he can hit them like that, particularly on the volley.
Yeah, Gyökeres said he's not seen him do that in training. Well, no one's seen him do it because it's the first time he scored from outside of the box. And quite difficult, as Alan said, not just the technique, but because the box was so full, so many bodies in there.
Yeah. Well, all you got to do is get the technique right. That's the most important thing. And, you've got bodies in front of you. He could have easily hit a body and gone wide. But lucky enough, he had the pace on it and he had that little gap to get in the back of the net, and he'd be over the moon with that, because when you look back at that, he'd be that is a top class strike from a midfielder who really is known to be breaking the ball up and being efficient in that midfield. But if he pops up with 2 goals as well, it's an absolute big bonus for Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, you did focus a little bit on him in the build-up, telling us kind of how he breaks up the play, what he brings to the midfield. You didn't tell us he had that in his locker.
No, not at all. I mean, it's a little bit like Declan when he scored 2 goals against Real Madrid from free kicks.
Yeah.
So, he's done exactly the same today, and it's just a bonus sometimes when you can get on the score sheet. And being in midfield, you just got to, know your players who's around you. If you get a chance to get forward, then you do it and people fill in for you, simple as that. So after scoring those 2 goals, he might be saying, I want to get forward a little bit more.
The second goal was quite different, Alan.
Yeah, it was very different. I mean, I just wonder whether this ball was for Declan Rice to hit first time. But because of the pace on it, he sort of has to adjust himself and take a touch. But at the end, they work it very well. Just there, that's why it may be him going to shoot, because you can see the 2 Arsenal players blocking the Forest defenders to get to him. But he has the pace of mind, I think, to take the touch and then knock it out wide to Trossard. He then takes a touch and whips a great ball in. But the leap, I mean, we've spoke about the great technique of his volley, but the leap there and the timing is also very, very difficult. And I know it takes a little deflection, which might help it on its way. But for him to get in there and get the timing and everything right to do that was really impressive. And there's no doubt he'll be player of the match today.
Let's look at from the Forest side. There were some opportunities. I think probably the one that stands out is Chris Wood.
Yeah, absolutely. This was an opportunity where he didn't know a lot about it, because he was fired in. This is California. He's got to pass it quicker there. He gets caught in possession, and then to be fair to Nottingham Forest, they were straight at the back 4, and he sort of fizzes it across. It sort of just hits him. He's done really well in the end because he sort of angled it towards the goal.
But what a save this is, Martin. Yeah. I think he does. There's no doubt he saves this. He gets a little bit of a finger on that, doesn't he, the goalkeeper?
But another day that might go in, and suddenly Nottingham Forest are back in the game. So good save from. That's what you need from your goalkeeper when he's not used a lot in that game. But when he does come up with an important save at an important time, that's very, very important. That's why Ray has been so good. A great signing for Arsenal. 100th
Arsenal appearance today and clean sheet number 42. So obviously really impressive and incredible for him to mark that occasion with a clean sheet. Back to the drawing board for Ange Postecoglou. He's only been there a few days. He's not really had much time. What do you think his notes will say after today?
Well, I think he won't be too harsh on the players at all, because the players have been into international break. He's hardly had time to spend with them, to get to know them, for them to get to know him. He'll be disappointed, obviously, but he shouldn't be too down, because he's got a good team in there. And if they get things right, which I think they will, and I don't think he'll tweak too much in terms of a playing style, because he knows what they already enjoy and work. And as I said pre the game, it's not as if he's walking into a disastrous team where normally a manager's been sacked because of poor results. This is not the case. They've had one poor result, and the manager's had a row with the owner or the director of football. That's why he's in the job. So I don't think he'll change too much at all, and he'll look to the next game and try and improve, and I'm sure they will.
I think for Nottingham Forest, always impressive was their defensive structure. I know today they had to have a makeshift defence. Zinchenko not able to play against his parent club, Ola Aina out. So right back, Williams having to move over and then having to bring in a left back. So makeshift. And then they lost Murillo as well to injury. But that's 2 games now where they've conceded 3 goals.
Well, the first 20 minutes, you could argue that they've done okay. Yeah. They defended pretty well as a unit. It was trying to frustrate Arsenal. Keeper didn't really have a lot to do. And then it's a wonder strike. Yeah, and sometimes you just got to hold, as Alan said earlier, just got to hold hands up, say, look, what can we do about that? And then suddenly you've got to play a different way, because now defensively you've got to try and get back into the game. I think he'd be more disappointed about the second goal. Because when you come out and start the second half, you say, look, just stay in the game, make it difficult in that first 15 minutes. And as soon as Arsenal got that second goal, it's a big goal for Arsenal as well, because you've got that little bit of advantage now, and their Forest really have to change the way they play. So, and they took advantage of it. So the goals come at the right time, if I'm being honest, for Arsenal, but they certainly didn't look back. And as Alan says there, Forest, a long way to go. A little bit of work done in the training ground now from Postecoglou, and I'm sure they'll be fine.
Well, we can now go back to the Emirates Stadium and get post-match reaction from Nottingham Forest manager. Here's Ange Postecoglou.
Okay, Ange, first game done. What are your thoughts after that?
Yeah, obviously disappointing outcome for us. Look, they're a good side, and here at home they're a tough proposition anyway. Can't fault the lads' effort. I thought they tried really hard. We were really able to get grips of the game. I think the second goal straight after half time just sort of allowed them to get away from us. So disappointing outcome, but yeah, like I said, can't fault the effort of the lads.
How much of an evolution do you hope or expect from your side now in the next couple of weeks, now that you can get into some training sessions even?
Yeah, look, that's exactly right. Sort of, this week's, fair to say, was fairly disruptive for the players. International week as well, so they didn't get in till Thursday, Friday. So, they're seeing a new manager. I'm trying to implement new things, and it's only understandable that they probably haven't got clarity of thought at the moment. But that's my job to now sort of try and embed that over the next few weeks. I'm sure we will, because there's a willing group of players to do that.
Do you think it was brave of him, Alan, to go in just before the Arsenal game? Do you think he should have waited?
I don't think you can. I think if he turns around and says that I'll sit and wait or I'll make my decision, then you run the risk of someone else getting a very good job at a big football club who they've got a chance of being successful. Because, as I said, he's gone into a club that's pretty steady, albeit with a different owner. But they've got a very good squad of players, group of players to work with. So, no, the answer to that was it was always going to be tough in the first game, particularly with it being an international break, and it just so happens it's Arsenal away, one of the toughest games. So he's got that out of the way, and I'm sure Forest will get better from now onwards.
OK, well, they lost 3-0 today. The man who scored 2 of those goals for Arsenal is alongside Alex Aldro. She's on translation duty for us with Martin Zubimendi.
Martin, enhorabuena, gran victoria, enhorabuena por tus 2 golazos. What a win. Congratulations to your 2 brilliant goals. Empezamos con el primer goal. We'll start with the first goal. Cuéntame cómo ha sido desde tu punto de vista. Talk me through that one.
Pues la verdad que estaba más mentalizado en la posible defensa, en el posible contraataque de ellos, pero bueno, he visto el balón que caía y bueno, pues suerte he podido empararla bien y que fuera portería.
He said, I was actually more focused on thinking about defending because they were on the counter, but then, well, the ball landed at my feet. I took the shot and it went in. Well, what a goal that was. Y el segundo, vaya cabezazo, what a header that was. Y gran pase de Leo Trossard también. What a ball from Leo.
Sí, la verdad que medio gol de Trossard y bueno, estaba por allí y bueno, la verdad que meter un gol de cabeza aquí en la Premier es difícil y contento por conseguirlo.
He said, yeah, it was a brilliant ball from Trossard. It's not easy scoring a goal in the Premier League, but yeah, it was a brilliant header. Y marcaste 2 goles en toda la temporada pasada con la Real Sociedad. You scored 2 goals all season, last season with Real Sociedad, y 2 hoy en un partido, 2 today in one game. Ni tan mal tu comienzo aquí. Not a bad start.
Sí, la verdad que es algo que tenía en mente, en el mejorar en el aspecto goleador y bueno, la verdad que estoy empezando bien con estos 2 goles.
He said it's something that I've been working on, really working hard to try and score more goals, which is why I'm so happy with my 2 goals today. Y la última vez que saliste en un 11 inicial con Marino y con Martin fue en 2020, ¿no? 2020, sí, con Real Sociedad. The last time you started alongside Marino and Ødegaard was 2020 with Real Sociedad. Pero te ayuda esa familiaridad? Does this familiarity help you con tu adaptación with your adapting?
Sí, con Merino seguro, porque llevo ya 7 años jugando con él aquí en el equipo y en la selección, pero bueno, una pena hoy lo de Martin que no hayamos podido jugar un poquito más de tiempo todos juntos.
Yeah, he said especially with Marino because I played much longer with him at Real Sociedad and more time with the Spanish national team as well. Less time with Martin, unfortunately, but now hay que seguir con la buena racha, ¿no? You have to continue with this good momentum.
Sí, está claro. Veníamos de una derrota que nos dolió mucho. Así que era importante hoy empezar una nueva racha y así puede durar mucho.
Yeah, he said it was really important because we came into this game after a really disappointing defeat against Liverpool and now we just have to keep going and win more football matches. Bueno, enhorabuena. Última cosa, the last thing, almost forgot there. You are the jugador del partido, man of the match, player of the match. Enhorabuena. ¿Dónde lo vas a guardar? Where are you going to keep it?
Bueno, pues todavía tengo una casa nueva, así que me falta decoración y es buena decoración para empezar.
He says he has a new house and there's not a lot in it. It's pretty empty, so the perfect thing to decorate it with. Bueno, enhorabuena. Thank you. Gracias. Perfecto. Enhorabuena.
A player of the match performance today and 2 goals from Martin Zubimendi. He really is outstanding, isn't he, Ray? And you can feel free to answer in Spanish.
I'd love to. I can't speak English. No, he's been a brilliant player. Obviously, knew quite a few of the lads before he turned up, and big money move, £60 million, and to fill Thomas Partey's role, you don't expect him to score many goals. He looks shocked himself that he scored 2 goals, and Alan's obviously sitting next to Alan, a goal machine. Us midfielders were, if we can chip him with a couple here and there, it's always great. But really pleased to see him smiling and enjoying it. And he's got now something to put in his house, which is great.
I'm not sure what's more impressive. The 2 goals or Alex is the way she's translation. Can we get her up to Newcastle so she can do an interview in Geordie?
Player of the match trophy for Alex Aljo as well. Well, we've had 3 goals already and we are just 1 game down.
Michael, back to winning ways in the Premier League. What did you enjoy about that out there?
Well, very good after the international break, and the players been away for a long time. It's always a question mark how they're going to react, how we're going to glide and connect together again, and I think the team certainly did that to win the Premier League 3-0. Another clean sheet, very important as well. Some players, some of them that it was the first time starting as well, having big performances, so overall very good.
Should we talk about Martin Zubimendi then? Because that was quite an incredible opener, but then the technique in the header in the second half as well.
Unbelievable. 2 very difficult goals in terms of execution, but yeah, I think he's coming the team, he's coming the club, and you feel a real presence, a real authority in everything that he does on that pitch as well. And yeah, if you can on top of that contribute in the scoreline with goals, what else can we ask?
In terms of your attacking threats today, first time, as you said, we'd seen those 3 start. 1 scored, 1 assist, and 1 got a standing ovation coming off. Could you ask for more?